Hello and welcome to the first ever Red and White preview show where we'll be reviewing the game up and coming for Saturday, Doncaster Rovers versus Sunderland. Joining myself, Jack Dodds, we have the Mackem down south, Matthew Lee. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, good, thanks, Jack.
And we have Doncaster fan and Doncaster YouTuber, I believe, Darren Challoner. You good?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Yeah, good. So I'm just going to jump in. We're going to begin with Saturday. Matthew, where do you think I went wrong?
So I just need to have a moment, man.
Yeah, it was one of those, wasn't it?
That game, to lose against MK Dons, oh my God, in the league. I mean, and going 1-0 up at home. Like, how you can lose a game like that? I mean, well, you can lose a game when you have players like Max Power in the middle. playing like that. To be honest with you, the manager, he sets up very defensively, and just the players it's just not quite clicking. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know, I think after the match, everyone's calling back for Aidan McGeady. And to be quite honest with you, I am as well. You know, I went on Twitter and I put #FreeMcGeady because that man, he can do all sorts. And oh God, I don't even know what to say. I mean, on this channel, you can see my reaction on the previous video. I wasn't happy. I think a lot of the players just lacked a lot of effort. I think the best player on the pitch was probably Remy Matthews, our goalkeeper, and it was all a bit of a surprise to see him in the starting lineup. Will Grigg once again. I think he's just allergic to scoring. To be quite honest with you, I mean, how he's missed that tap in. I mean, my mum would have scored that. You know, anyone would have scored that. It's just, he just sort of stood there and watched it go past him. Didn't even make an effort to, you know. But it's a horrible result. And man, I think if we don't get a result against Doncaster, this is the match where if we play bad in this one, everyone's going to be Phil Parkinson out. And that's been said quite a lot. I think it's this game that's going to make up people's minds, because people are on the fence with Parkinson, and to be quite honest with you, so am I. But if he loses this game, the amount of more pressure that's going to be on the owners to get rid of him is going to be incredible.
I think it really says something when someone such as myself, who's been such a huge fan of Parkinson, out of our fan base, I'm probably his biggest supporter, really. And even on Saturday, I mean, I tried to defend him, but I thought, you just can't defend that. It's 2-1 loss to MK Dons. I mean, they haven't won away in 14 months, and we're the first one to give them that. I think we lacked a plan B, Matthew. I think it's the same every week, where every team figures us out as MK Dons did. I think they knew exactly what we were coming to do, and they just put a stop to that. And once teams have got you figured out, well, there's when you don't have a plan B to switch to,
exactly.
You know, if when plan isn't working, you're not going to be to score goals. It's a shame that I think. I mean, fair play to MK Dons. They did really well. I think they managed the game really well. You know, towards the end of the game, I think they didn't overcommit. They didn't do anything stupid, and they earned the point. Aaron, last Saturday, I believe your last league game, I believe, was a 1-1 draw against Wimbledon. I would imagine that's not a hugely a great result for your team. But how do you think it was? How do you think it went?
No, it's not a positive result at all. And to be fair, you were talking about MK Dons. I just want to quickly say that I think MK Dons were the best team. I knew straight away that MK Dons were going to give you a good game, because I think Russell Martin's got an excellent team. Phil Parkinson's more part of the Boston Stagecoach. And I personally feel like you said, Parkinson will go if he loses this game. In terms of us, we've been up, down. We've been the yo-yo club of the season. You know, get it made down the local shop. It will be a traditional yo-yo. I feel like we do need to improve. We've shown signs of real quality. There's been games this season where we've shown our attacking intent, and especially against a Parkinson that likes to park the bus. You know, he's got first buses on speed dial. With our quick attack, we can get at that. And if you don't play the right way, it's going to be very hard to deal with an attacking team, especially with the quick players we've got. And, you know, obviously I'm not a Donny YouTuber. I'm more theme parks, but I do follow the team every week, and it's my hometown club. I've loved it since, you know, Bellevue days in 2005, 2006. And this is the most attacking football I've seen since Sean O'Driscoll, and that was saying something. So it's nice to see this attacking football, but I do worry for Sunderland. I'm one of those fans that will look at it from both perspectives. So I'll see it from our perspective where I think, okay, if we play attacking football, we can come at them. We'll have loads of penetration. We'll have more penetration than Babe Station. But if we sit back and let you press on us with a part of the bus style football, then we're going to end up with a 0-0 draw, because it's just not going to end up like a decent game if we don't attack. So with your part of the bus style football, if we come at that, we could win this game. But I feel sorry for you lot, because you want a Premier League club and you've been screwed over by Stuart Donald. And, you know, it just, from our perspective, we need to win the game. We need to come out with an attacking intent. But for you guys, I worry if you don't come out with any form of attack. And I do worry for Phil Parkinson's future as well.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there when you mentioned how defensive we are. You know, I think that's just Parkinson's style. And do you know what? I'm not a huge critic of playing defensively. I think if you can, one thing, Michael Bowers, who appears more on the SAFC fan TV, and he's got his own YouTube channel. One thing he points out really well is that you're not going to keep a clean sheet every game, but if you can aim to do that and you can keep a clean sheet in most games, you can expect to win most games, because the chances are, especially in League One, when the defenders are so poor and they're so prone to making mistakes, that you know you're going to get a chance to nick a goal here or there. You know, some of the players we've got on our team, we haven't got a particularly good front line, but we have got players like Maguire and Gooch who do pop up with goals. So I'm not hugely against the defensive football, but you're saying that you think your pace going forward and the penetration you have going forward could really hurt us. I've noticed Darren Moore is your manager, the former West Brom manager, I believe. Yeah, he's someone a lot of Sunderland fans have mentioned before. How do you think he's done since he's came in?
He's been our saviour. He's like a gift from God. It's like he could come down the stairway to heaven and we'd take him with a halo and open wings. He's just been a heaven sent to this club. And there was actually an article this season that he could have been a potential target if Steve Bruce was to leave Newcastle. That's how good he is. Yeah. That's how good this guy is. And he's brought, like I said, that attacking football we've missed since O'Driscoll. We've had so much defensive possession managers. It's been hard to control. We had that one season in League Two with Darren Ferguson that was one bit of success. And then we bottled the title. But, you know, since Darren Moore's been here, he's just been an absolute heaven sent. And the players he's brought in over the last couple of seasons, you know, and where they've come from as well, you wouldn't expect to find hidden gems in where they've come from. You know, Brad Halliday for free from Cambridge United. You wouldn't expect him to be one of the best right-backs in this league. Yeah. Maja Gomez from Croatia, used to play for Leeds a few years ago. He hadn't scored a goal in his entire senior career, and then he suddenly scored in the first few weeks of the season. We've got him, a hidden gem. He's like Maja De Bruyne. Never mind Maja Xhaka. He's Maja De Bruyne. And, you know, on his best day, he can perform amazingly. Club captain Ben Whiteman, the architect, you know, he could architect World War III. I don't encourage him to do that, but he could architect it. And, you know, we've got such an array of players on loan. People criticise the loan deals, but you know what? Ben Whiteman was originally a loan deal from Sheffield United and made permanent. Anderson was originally a loan deal from Burnley, made permanent. It works. We get first dibs. Cameron John last season on loan from Wolves. We got him permanent this year on a 2-3 year contract. It has worked. This process has worked, and the board have backed him 100%. And this is why I feel sorry for your ownership. Well, not for your ownership, because they're absolutely tools. You know, they've got more tools than a toolkit. But, you know, this is why I praise my board, because our board are honest with the fans. They don't tell them any BS. They tell them exactly what's happening then and there. You know, I was chatting to Robbie from AFTV about a month ago now, And even he said that Darren Moore's someone they can trust. Robbie said that Darren Moore's a good manager. Our club was amazing. And when we think about the previous ownership, I don't want to go into too much detail, but let's just say it ended up in a coffin, pitch invasions, and a burning stand.
Yeah,
but,
we've been there before, mate, yeah.
And we're going to be there as well.
See, I think if there was fans in the stadium, it would have not been a nice place Saturday.
No, especially now at the moment, the manager and the owners, no, they're lucky.
Yeah.
They're lucky.
It's the toxicity of football.
I like to hold off criticising Parkinson. As I say, I am a fan of him more so than a lot of fans are. Maybe I'm just a bit of an optimist, but Stuart Dodds, you really can't defend that man. You mentioned Ben Whiteman and Magic Gomez. Those are two players that I had down. So I believe Ben Whiteman is your top goal scorer, and I noticed that Magic Gomez won Player of the Month not long ago. I've also got down here Sims has got the most assists, or is he not a good player? So I'm just wondering, going into Saturday. You mentioned Ben Whiteman. You mentioned Magic Gomez. I'm not sure what kind of formation, what kind of system you play, but what can we expect from Doncaster to challenge us in terms of players and tactics?
Well, first of all, Josh Sims, he's literally a saint from the Saints.
I thought you were being negative there when you went like that.
No. Josh Sims is hand on heart. He's a saint. He is one of the best attacking players we've got. He's Premier League level. He's Premier League proven, he's MLS proven. We've got such a good player on our hands. It's a short-term contract, but you can bet your lucky backside we've got him to the end of the season. They're going to extend it in January, believe it or not. It's a kind of magic. It's amazing to have that kind of player. We play the 4-2-3-1. That's the kind of formation we play. We play from the back. We play, and this is the good thing about Moore's tactics. We've got the players now that play out from the back football, attacking, find the right crosses, find the right movements. Yes, there's times this season where we've had to make better decisions and, there might be crossing opportunities that we got off later rather than sooner. It's not come to anything that it should have come to something. But we're developing. We're keeping to our development as a team and as a club. And the formation of the 4-2-3-1 is perfect. There's been times where we've changed it and things like that, but I think the 4-2-3-1 works. Look out for impossible positions. There's been times when we've played Reece James at CDM, right at right back. And, there's been times when we've played players in different positions, and sometimes that's worked, sometimes that hasn't worked. One player, if Reece James is not playing at left back, one person who I think could be at left back that I need you guys to watch out for, who's a good young star for the future, Danny Amos, academy proven, under 21 Northern Ireland international, and he's just got the pace of a rocket at 100 mile per hour boost. He's just absolutely incredible. He's one of the best young players we've got at this club, and he's academy proven as well. So, he's come from the Doncaster Rovers through and through. And, on the day with that formation, with the kind of tactics we play, the out from the back football, we've got the kind of players and the kind of tactics that could make Man United cower in misery. But saying that, look at them at the minute. But with Donny Rovers, the sky's the limit. The sky's the absolute limit with us. And, there's so many players you've got to watch out. Bursic, if your strikers want a good goalkeeper to face up against on the weekend, look at Bursic. He's just making save after save after save. It's like having Manuel Neuer in his prime, or De Gea without the rubbish moment.
Not that good in the third division.
Aaron, it sounds like we're going to get smashed, like 10-0 or something, by the way you're talking.
I worry for Sunderland. I absolutely worry, because you're playing so much part of the bus. You could call first coaches and say, you've got more part of the buses than we have. I just worry for your team. The only reason I'm saying this is because I worry. I think if you were playing better football and had a better coach or a better ownership, which say that actually backs a manager, I would have said, you know what, it's going to be tough, obviously, but hopefully we'll come out of it with shining colours. But because of how your team's performed, this isn't arrogance, I just don't feel worried, because I don't think you are going to attack. I think you're going to be parking the bus in the bus stop for Sunderland.
No, we honestly, Aaron, going forward, we have this one plan of playing it out wide. What tends to happen is the left and right centre back, respectively, will go up the wing along with the full back, and then usually one of the forwards will drop out wide, and we'll look to cross it in the box. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we don't tend to attack with pace. We're slow going forward. We're quite lethargic. We look as if we're just going through the motions all the time. And one thing, I will bring you in, Matthew, in just 1 second, but one thing that surprised me there, you said that you've been playing out from the back and playing it along the floor a bit. Obviously, that you'll have had to adapt to losing John Marquis. Was it at the start of not the season gone, but the one before? Obviously, he's a target man. Is that something that's the way you've adapted to losing John Marquis, who's such a target man, and he's at Portsmouth now? Are you starting to play the ball along the floor a bit more as opposed to using him as a target man?
Yeah, it definitely. It's Marcus, we call him our B-Tech Andy Carroll, and at times he was better than Andy Carroll.
He is better than Andy Carroll.
When Andy Carroll's not on the injury list. But, once he's stalled, we need to get a striker, and we had a striker situation last season for the first half of the season. It was such a big problem for us. And it was just a case of finding the right man. Now we've got the quick forwards. It's like you said, we adapted. We sort of adapted from the target man system where we hoof the ball up and we play nice, quick, attacking football from the back with two pacey forwards. John Jules when he's not injured, Tulloch when he's not injured. And we've got such quick forwards already. It's just going to be inevitable. For Jerry Okunabiri, I would be wary of him. I don't think the goals are going to come from him. I think his hold-up play is like De Bruyne. His shooting is like Harry Hill. It's not consistent at all. It needs to be improved, but I would be wary of that because he can find the worst shots the most effective. It's like having another Emil Heskey at times. But, you have to be wary of that. But it's nice to have quick forwards instead of a target man because it means we play more exciting football. We've adapted to that.
Yeah. On the striking situation, we've got a bit of a situation ourselves where we have three main strikers. Matthew, I'm going to bring you in here. We've got Charlie Wyke, who we've had since the start of League One, who, in my opinion at least, has grown into a kind of fan favourite, but not through any real ability, more just an effort. But I think what Wyke brings you is he does bring that effort, that 100%. When things aren't going his way, he starts to run at defenders, closing them down. He gets out in the flank, trying to pick the ball up. He works hard for it. There's also Danny Graham, who I think I've been an advocate for playing this season. I think similarly to Wyke, he'll offer you that effort, but I think he's maybe got a bit more to offer in terms of hold-up play. There's then also Will Grigg, obviously, who we all know about, but who since coming in hasn't really offered us anything. He's struggled to get going. He's struggled to score goals, and I think if he's not scoring goals, he doesn't offer you anything in terms of effort or link-up play or hold-up play. Matthew, going into Saturday, who would you like to see up front out of the three, or would you potentially
Charlie Wyke.
Charlie Wyke.
For the only reason is Grigg missed an open goal. Also O'Brien as well. Aidan O'Brien is dreadful. I mean, dreadful. I mean, it just feels like no one's going to score. He gets a chance, he just doesn't hit the target, and he just never impresses. Who else? Danny Graham, right? I feel like there's a curse when he puts on a Sunderland shirt because, I mean, against Mansfield, the cross came in, and I think it was going in, and he literally headed it out of the goal and put it onto the crossbar. It feels like no one's going to score. Obviously, Charlie Wyke, he became a fan's favourite in the first season. We're all. I mean, I remember going to Peterborough away, and everyone was going, "Si, senor." I mean, that was brilliant. And then that game, he got put through 1-on-1, and he completely missed the target. Do you remember that? And I was like, this is ridiculous. But he went through an all right spell, actually scoring against Doncaster when we beat when we won 2-0. But
that was a good day. That I remember that Lewis Morgan hit there from about 20 yards out or so, went in and then.
Yeah. So that was a good game. That was after the 5-4 against Coventry. So, Charlie Wyke went through a decent run of form there. But yeah, no, I mean, he's not the best striker in the world. He gets bullied by the defenders. I just say as well, when I feel like we talk about Sunderland, it's like we're the worst team in the world, and like when Aaron speaks about Doncaster, it's like they're the best team in the world. To be honest, that's what it feels like. It feels like we're going to get absolutely smashed. But no, I mean, I'd start Wyke because he's been playing all right. I think he's been showing that extra bit of effort chasing those defenders down in the last few games. Because he's one of the slowest players I think has ever played for us, but he still does his best to chase defenders down, and that's something that Will Grigg hasn't even been doing, and he's capable of doing it, and it's just that lack of effort. And you know, it's sort of like when you keep missing open goals, it's sort of like, what's the point anymore? You know, and you just sort of lose that effort.
That's nothing you striker to do.
Yeah, that's one thing we signed you for. One thing we signed strikers for is to score goals, and we've had a problem now since maybe since Madja, yes, exactly. Since Josh Madja, we just haven't had a striker to score goals. And I think if we've had a goal scorer, we wouldn't be in League One at the moment.
Yeah, I think if you look back at the chain of events, I think if we kept Madja, I think we would have been promoted straight away, and I think you could have expected to possibly sell him when we got to the Championship and get a bit of money from him and invest that money, or he would have even done all right in the Championship.
Well, his contract was going to run out at the end of the season, and I think they were like, we've got to send him in January, or we're going to get nothing. But
yeah, and
if we got promoted to the Championship and he left for free, we would have gained more. Do you know what I mean?
I thought is. I mean, how much did we sell him for? Was it 4 million? We sold 3 million. We sold him for.
I think, but and then that was to pay off. Who was it? Wabi Kazri, I think, from Bordeaux.
But to me, if you would say to me at the time, would you rather 3 million or Championship football? I know which one I'd take. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. When we knew we could have brought in someone like Grigg, and who's not how badly Grigg was going to do. And obviously, we've had a debate among the strikers, and I think we agree on White.
Yeah.
One area I tend to disagree with a lot of people is the centre midfield. Now, I think one problem with us in centre midfield is we've got a lot of options. We just don't have much quality. I mean, Grant Ledbetter, to me, this season has been one of our most consistent performers. Controls the field quite well, I think, and he's really found a rhythm this season. Scowen, although he hasn't impressed, we know his capabilities. He's a Championship-proven player, and I think it might only be a matter of time before he comes in. But if we're to play 3 centre midfielders again, out of Dobson and Power, Matthew, which one do you start?
Well, Power. And to be honest with you, I only say that because the thing is right with Dobson, he's got no quality on the ball. He can't, like Scowen. He's a busy player. You know, he runs around a bit, and at least he looks comfortable on the ball. Dobson most of the time looks like he's running through horse shit, and he's so flappy. It's ridiculous. Someone could just push him and he'll fall over and lose the ball. I don't like that about him. At least Power's not very good, to be fair. I mean, he's dreadful. But the thing is with him, at least he can sort of have a shot or whatever. I don't think I've ever seen Dobson shoot in his life. So if we want that sort of attacking option, then Power is a bit more attacking than Dobson. But yeah, I mean, you say Grant Ledbetter as well. Grant Ledbetter, I mean, he's brilliant on the ball. You know, he sprays good balls out wide. But the thing is with him, he's 34, and he can't. He hasn't really got his legs that he used to. He can't run that fast, and that's where we lack pace. I think people are always thinking about, well, our wingers need to be fast, to get the pace. But I think a lot of where our play comes from is the central midfield, and if the central midfield is slow, then the whole game is moving slow. And what I see is with the central midfield is a lot of passes going wide, a lot of passes back when we should really be going forwards. And that's where I think the difference is when we have a crowd and when we don't have a crowd. Because if there's a crowd there and they're screaming at these players, imagine if they pass the ball back, they are 30,000 fans screaming at them. What are you doing? Passing it back, but there's no one there to say, "Hey, lads, what are you doing? You're passing it back. We need to go get a goal here." And so that's something really frustrating. And I think maybe the fans help out the central midfielders a lot more. But yeah, no, I think they find it difficult to get some motivating factors when we're not exactly performing as well as we'd like to. But yeah, no. So if we're going to start 3 midfielders, Scowen, Ledbetter, and Max Power.
I think there is a fair point with Ledbetter about his age, where he has been great this season, but you can't expect him to play every week. I think you're asking too much of him if you're asking Grant Levitt to play every week and play at 100%, because he just hasn't got the fitness levels to do that. I'm sticking my neck out on the line here, but I am more of a Dobson man than Power. I mean, neither of them contribute loads, but I just think with Power, he seems to be absent a lot going forward and defensively. Whereas I just think with Dobson, get a little bit more energy, a little bit more running out of him, and he's gonna track players a bit more and put a few tackles in, even if he's not brilliant.
But Jack, do you think if Power wasn't the captain, he'd be better, or because although he's probably had his worst start to a season with us, I don't know if it's been much of a difference. I don't know if maybe he's just got away with not being as good beforehand, and maybe we're noticing it more now. I just think with Power, he's more of a. I think he prefers to play his flashy passes and take his long shots that look good for the camera, but he doesn't actually bring much to the game. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I just want to say one last thing on Max Power, just real quick. Sorry, I just want to say, when Max Power first signed, right, first few games, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Got to say, he scored a great header against Scunthorpe at home. Scored a brilliant goal at Gillingham away. He passing the ball fantastically. But then I've seen him get the captaincy, and the thing is when he's in the middle and he's looking for the ball, usually before he could get the ball and he's looking forward, he's going, all right, where am I going? But now he's the captain, he's like, right, oh shit, the rest of the team, what's going on? You need to get there. And he's not so much concentrating on what he's doing, so then he's thinking about it too much, or I don't know. I'm not a professional footballer myself, but I'm only a fan, and I'm only saying exactly what I see.
Yeah. Aaron, we haven't got long to go. We've I believe we've got about 10 minutes left. You're very optimistic about your team, Doncaster. One thing I want to ask you seem to be conceding a lot of goals this season. I got you that you scored 18 goals, but scored 18, but also conceded 11. And obviously, in the previous meetings, I know maybe you've improved much. I believe since coming down to League One, the last time we have beat you 3 times and drew once. So I'm just wondering, in terms of, is there anything out of Doncaster, apart from the positives, anything that we can look to exploit, and anything that might play into our hands as a team, possibly a weak defence or whatever?
Well, first of all, I want to say that my midfield 3 for you guys would be probably Dobson, Power and Scowen.
Hey.
I think Scowen's championship proven. Powers might not be living up to his second name at the minute, but I think he can prove himself in the end. Dobson, I think he's younger and I think he's got a bright future, but I think Leadbitter is a good backup because I think he'd be good sort of holding, like the Matic type player. I think it's good having a Matic type player with age and experience behind 2 more general midfielders in front. I think that would be the way forward for me. But with negatives, I would say our back line on its best day is one of the best defences in the league. I'd definitely say that in my opinion. I think that's not just optimism. I think that's proven. At one point last season, we were the joint best defence in the league going into the end of the season. So, facts don't lie. And I think if I could pick anything out, it would probably be just pouncing on stray passes. Because there's been a lot of times this season, and it's led to a few goals where passes have just gone to absolutely nowhere. It's like we're passing to ghosts. And, you've got to watch out for them, pounce on them. But this way, you've got to bring in the attacking football of the opposition, but no attack. You could go to war with us and we'd win hands down because you'd have no offensive. You'd always have a defensive that you'd always crowd around. But if I was to pounce on any other negatives, it would probably be communication. I think there's been a couple of times, especially with Lewis Jones in net, that we would miscommunicate with the defence. And again, that leads to stray passes, giving the ball away. So if we're going to win this game, we're going to be on it. It's not like Theo Walcott where he has a few bad games and one good one. We've got to be on it pretty much all the time this season. There's times where we haven't been, but there's times where we have. And on Saturday, it's got to be one of those times where we're on it. And, it's like I said throughout this episode, I do worry about your team because, losing to Mansfield, first of all, let's go back a couple of weeks here, losing to Mansfield in the FA Cup, I couldn't believe that. Losing to Fleetwood after they've been on a bad run. Codswogg is happy, but Fleetwood is, getting better. But, I think if you're going to win this game, you're going to pounce on mistakes. But again, you've got to play the attacking football. And hopefully, for you guys, you'll put out the right lineup. But I think, like you said at the beginning, if it doesn't come off for you guys, it'd be great for us if we won. But I'm not going to be one of those fans that's going to be like, yeah, we won, we're going to win the quadruple, we're going to go play Bayern Munich in the Champions League final. We're not one of those fan bases. I'm going to be realistic and say it's a good win if we do win. 3 points, we move on, we keep the consistency, and that's one big thing that I sort of think in the long term for us, consistency. We are one of those teams that will have 2 good wins, then 2 good losses or draws, then maybe another loss or draw, then another couple of good wins. We'll never string 5 or 6 wins together at the minute. So that's something we're doing in the long term. But if you do lose, I'm not one of those that says, you're lost, you're rubbish, you're nye. I'm going to sit here and say, Parkinson out. I will unite as a fan base. And like you were saying earlier about the fans are the 12th man. Yeah. And this is where I call on people up above to say, why aren't you letting these guys in? Why aren't we letting fans in? I know we're in lockdown, but why aren't they being allowed? And, the fact that indoor cinemas were being allowed to be helped and outside stadiums weren't, it was ludicrous. But there we go. It's just what it is.
Yeah, we're just running out of time. That's the only thing. I would love to get into the debate about letting fans in. It's something that I've been really vocal. I think it is absolutely ridiculous. And dead quickly, because we are running out of time, prediction for Saturday. You look like you're thinking you're going to win. What's your prediction?
I'm going to stay grounded and say 3-0 Doncaster, because I think no attack from Sunderland might help us.
Yeah, Matthew?
1-0 to Doncaster. Parky out, McGeady in.
Right. I'm going to go with the Jack Ross special of 1-1. Hashtag free McGeady. But I'm still Parkinson in. He gets 3 more games to me. Right. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been the first run of the show. I would like to say a massive thank you to Darren. I think he's been absolutely class today. We are running slightly out of time, so I'm going to try and wrap this up dead quickly before Zoom cuts us off. Big thank you to Matthew as well. You've got a show on Saturday, I believe, just after the match.
Yeah. We're Down South show. Me and my friend Dan, 2 Southern Rackhams.
Yeah, make sure you turn it on. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like, subscribe, all of that stuff. And we'll see you later.